It's about that time to take a look at the stories in the papers, the headlines, the major talking points on Freshly Pressed on a beautiful Monday morning right here on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. We are your love music, love live station. It's 31 minutes past 7. It's the 19th day of May, 2025. Yours truly is Ayokunmi Kikiriako. And great to have you join us this morning. First Freshly Pressed of the week. It's going to be an amazing one, as it always is. And we look forward to you making it even more awesome, as it always is. You play a big part in it. We look forward to always taking your thoughts, your messages, your perspectives as well. So please do join us as you always do. WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 is the WhatsApp number. You can also keep up with us on WhatsApp and send your messages. Sorry, keep up with us on YouTube, I beg your pardon, and send your messages there. Just leave that in the chat box. I'll do my best to take them alongside the WhatsApp messages. You can find us on YouTube. Also subscribe and follow us there as well. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right. Joining me this morning to take a look at the stories and, of course, give his analysis. AB Bozimo is with me on the show this morning. AB, good morning to you. Great to have you in a brand new week.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning to all of the wonderful listeners. It's great to join you. Let's make this a meaningful money-making Monday.
Yes, indeed. Let's make it a meaningful money-making Monday. Those are very, very important things that we need to underline. Meaningful, very, very key. All right, let's begin our journey this morning, AB. Let's step into the Punch newspaper, and this one says that the Senate's Committee on Power has raised concerns over the liquidity crisis bedeviling the power sector, lamenting that tariff shortfalls have indicated that the government is owing a whopping 200 billion naira to generating and distribution companies every single month. Now, this was disclosed by the committee's chairman, Senator Eyinaya Abaribe, while fielding questions from journalists during the retreat held in Ikotekwene, that's in Akwa Ibom, on Saturday, which was organized, interestingly, with the Nigerian Electricity and Regulatory Commission, and it aimed to provide solutions to critical and emerging issues in the Nigerian power sector. Issues are always emerging in the Nigerian power sector. 200 billion naira being owed every single month. Are we ever going to get out of this quagmire?
Now, the only thing that's not emerging from the Nigerian power sector is actually power. Only issues, only complaints, only strikes, and so on. Now, 200 billion must be maybe a result of some earlier agreement so that there's an offtake. Whether there's offtake or not, you'll be owing us this. That's, it's not, it's a conventional way of coming to some agreement and hoping that that agreement will inspire the operators to put their best foot forward. The question is, we're moving subsidy on petrol so that we can save money. How much has actually been, yielded by that policy? What is it actually going to? What sectors is it empowering? Because I know more money is also going to the states. So it's a question for both the federal, the state, and even the local government at this point. That additional money, how is it being deployed? How is electricity not seen as a priority? Remember, one of the things that the current administration did was to further expand the arena through which electricity operates down to the state level. How come each state governor or even regions, we have these leprous 6 fingers on a 5-fingered hand that we call our geopolitical zones? How come even as zones, people don't get together and say, okay, we are going to strengthen the electricity for those in our zone in the following progressive way? You might not, look, I'm not looking for 24 hours of power, but are you able to, since the start of this administration, indeed, since the president and the National Assembly, I think, made that policy, has any state or region added a single megawatt of capacity? If not, why not? If not, what instead have they done? To be very frank, this story just reminds us that maybe since 1960 something, we've had roughly between 4 and 5,000 megawatts available to handle Nigeria. It hasn't mattered that tens of decades have passed. We're still around that 4 to 5,000 megawatts. This is not to say that installed capacity hasn't improved. Like we're, I think, about 12,000 megawatts of installed capacity. But what is able to be transmitted through our transmission lines is always stopped around 5 megawatts. Anything more than that, we have that standard narcoleptic power system where it collapses. So, what are the states and the federal government doing other than just removing tariffs for electricity, removing tariffs for fuel, to move this electricity sector forward? Because without it, you can hardly have efficient industrialization. And Abaribe asked a question. We have to make a decision. Are we going to subsidize? Because, you know, this subsidy that the
Are you there, Abby?
throw around as a dirty word.
Okay.
It's outrage. They subsidize electricity and energy in America. For those who don't know, they subsidize food in America. They subsidize housing in America. You could say it to a larger or lesser extent, but subsidy is not a dirty word. It's now a matter of carefully controlling it. So back to this 200 billion naira a month on top. They say they have not paid a single penny this year. This is on top of 3 trillion naira before. I am here to say Nigeria has the capacity to overcome these debts. What is lacking is management and sincerity, because we have some of the most productive people. As one of our stories will tell, some of anywhere Nigerians seem to be, we excel, seemingly except within this our beautiful four corner called Nigeria. So let's decide, to what extent are we going to subsidize electricity? What sectors are we? I think we should subsidize electricity in the industrial sector, because that is a net employer of labor. And if people are working and they are producing, they have the better chance to earn money with which to pay their residential bills. That's just my initial thought. It's a complex thing, but we cannot continue to sustain this kind of debts. And once again, what are states, governors, and governments doing? Our local governments and indeed our regions. How come you can't say, okay, the region X has the best reliability of electricity so far? Let's look at it from that perspective.
Hmm. Well, talking about what states are doing, I know that I think Lagos or Ekiti are currently accelerating plans to establish independent power plants. Looking at everything that's going on, how far they have gone, I can't give an answer right now, but I know that at least they are making certain attempts to do something in that regard. But those are just a few of the states. We have 36 states in Nigeria. Other
36
states,
of them, yeah.
need to also figure a way out of this current situation that we find ourselves in. Cisco Delgado on WhatsApp says, the blueprint for solving Nigeria's power sector is with me and lots of other Nigerian engineers. If the federal government is very serious, they should look at what Burkina Faso is doing to shape their economy. Good morning to you too, Cisco Delgado. All right. Ms. Chen says, let's make it a MMM Monday. I think you mean money making. I don't know what the third M is for, but that MMM, it's for some people will give them PTSD. If you know, you know.
I tell you.
All right, Avi, let's keep the energy this morning, and we'll step into the Vanguard right now. Let's talk about the World Bank. Let's talk about NNPCL as well. They're never too far from the news. And Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged Mr. Bayo Ujulari, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, to account for and explain the whereabouts of the missing 500 billion naira, which the NNPCL failed to remit to the Federation account between October 2024 and December 2024, as revealed by the World Bank. Now, they urged Mr. Ujulari to identify those suspected to be involved, surcharge them for the full amount involved, and hand them over to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, that's the ICPC, as well as the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, for investigation and prosecution. So, AB, as per the usual rinse and repeat, where the NNPCL is concerned, monies are in the wind, as they tend to be 500 billion between the months of October and December 2024. We've been calling for opening up of the books of the NNPCL. Let's know what is going on in that entity. And up until today, it's, shrouded in mystery. And here we are once again.
Think about these sums. We say we're owing 200 billion naira to the Gencos, then 500 billion is missing. So I say again, that is not necessarily a money problem or a revenue problem, but an honesty and integrity problem. If we had clear, one of the goals, I think, of trying to make NNPC a public company was for transparency. Is there any published, what are those going to get at the end of the year? Any published records that somebody can investigate? Do those exist, or they just called it public in name, but they are still shrouding it in mystery? Why on earth, or how on earth, was NNPC able to allegedly refuse to remit to the federation account? It's just a question, because surely there should be systems in place that make these things automated. It shouldn't take somebody signing or refusing to sign or not being on seat for such sums of money to be retained or distributed or diverted, depending on what may be found out. So Serap, once again, is doing a yeoman's job to get up, highlight issues of national significance. These are not the issues that the Nigerian Senate will look at. When the Nigerian Senate is trying to look at issues, they look at very, very pointless things like we discussed on Friday. This is the kind of thing that the Senate should have been front and center doing, but no, Nigerians for not voting. That was the priority of the Nigerian Senate. Anyway, so the question is, where has this money allegedly been diverted to? There was clear, you don't make up a sum like that. Even the World Bank has said that a lot of the money that was supposed to be saved from the, what's that word? That was supposed to be saved from the subsidy removal has not gone into the Nigerian account. So I say it again, it is not a matter of purely money. It's a matter of sincerity, integrity, and a sense of patriotism. If you are in charge of national resources, already you are at the top of life's pile. What on earth should stop you from doing the right thing for so many millions of people who therefore depend on you? I think it's a pity. But yes, Sarah said that they have asked very politely, could you please look into this, Mr. Bayo Julari? Otherwise, within 7 days, we will go to court. You could say, oh, Serap is always acting like who is that person who tilted against windmills? They're always going, but there is a method to this. It highlights gaps. Anybody else an opportunity to understand the quality of management, or should I say mismanagement, going on right now at the official levels of Nigeria. Imagine what 500 billion naira could do in any of the Nigerian sectors, whether it's distributed into states and all that. Imagine what it could do. An additional 10 billion naira if we had 50 states. An additional much more since we have only 36 states and the FCT. Imagine that going into just putting solar energy in every single primary health care unit in Nigeria. Think about that. That's a lot of moving things forward or getting more equipment. But so when you hear these numbers, honestly, sometimes they are hard to fathom. They're hard to just wrap your mind around. But if you divide it like that into actual things, you can see that it would make a big difference. So when you have that kind of money being, quote unquote, spirited away, we are net the losers for it.
Yes, indeed. Maybe you said something a few seconds ago, talked about lapses. We've seen these lapses, especially where the NNPCL is concerned, for years and years and years. We've made so much noise. Our voices are hoarse at this point in time. And it doesn't seem like anyone, no matter what the administration is interested in finding out, in opening up what's going on in the NNPCL, perhaps because of personal interest, or perhaps because the skeletons that will be revealed would cause a lot of trouble. We don't seem to be interested in actually figuring out what's going on.
It certainly doesn't look like it, because people have the authority, they have the office, they have the power, but they don't deploy it in that direction. Instead, they deploy it for other things that are not of benefit to the larger populace.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's know your thoughts on what's going on this morning. Get your Messages into us on WhatsApp on 0809-444-0981. 0809-444-0981. That's the WhatsApp number. If you're on YouTube or you prefer to keep up with us on YouTube, you can also leave a comment in the chat box right there. We'll get to it as soon as possible. All right, heading into this day newspaper now, AB. Let's talk about this one now. This is nothing new, but of course, it has come up once again. It seems like it comes up every 7 market days. I don't know, but it's talking about the Lagos State government refusing viral media social assertions that the city is plagued by foul smells and mosquitoes. Now, the backlash followed a controversial podcast appearance by online personality Scott Iguma, who claimed that, in quotes, Lagos is smelling and there are a lot of big mosquitoes in the state. Now, the remarks quickly gained traction online, sparking widespread debates. Now, responding via his official X account yesterday, the Lagos State Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, that's Tokunbo Wahab, criticized what he described as a calculated attempt to discredit the state's image. Now, he accused certain individuals of exploiting their online influence to push misleading narratives that align with divisive agendas and undermine the city's progress as well. If you remember, AB, there was an incident similar to this not too long ago concerning the core member, the lady. What's that name again? I can't remember her name right now. This also came up. Now this has come up once again, and it seems like the same templates, the same playbook. But let me get your thoughts on this one.
Now, interestingly, Lagos is a tale of two cities. And by that, I mean, if you look at certain metrics, Lagos is the second worst city to live in terms of infrastructure, in terms of, certain metrics. Lagos is second to the last worst city in the world, major city. But on other metrics, Lagos is near the top 3, top 6 in terms of the vibe, the energy, the creativity, and so on. So you could say it depends on what you want to focus on. Now, to this very specific story, Lagos is largely surrounded by water. It has a lagoon in the middle of it, and it's right near the ocean. So it should not necessarily be surprising that things that have to do with water may have more impact on Lagos than anywhere else. Right. That said, when we talk specifically about mosquitoes are more a problem of poor infrastructure when it comes to drainage than they are anything else. So as to the question of smells and all that, as a commissioner of environment, I'm sure that the commissioner has plans he's put in place and he's still evolving that will address or tackle specific areas where he can improve the system. I think a statement like this may not cause, when he says he's trying to undermine the city's progress. Lagos is progressing tremendously. Of all the cities in Nigeria, they have a metro system. There are a number of advances that have happened in Lagos that make it literally a city state almost. Okay, so I would be maybe what you do in this kind of case is you lean into your strengths. You can acknowledge where there are lapses. I mean, when it rains, Lagos is sometimes a hellhole. It was a few days ago, one roundabout was being repaired, or a bridge, and the whole city ground to a halt. People left home at 4 a.m. today, got home at 4 a.m. tomorrow. Let's not underestimate. That was a one in 1,000 experience, but it happens. But that said, Lagos is a city full of vibe, culture, creativity, energy, and so on. So let's lean into what's positive about Lagos and reduce the barriers and the challenges. And I think overall, Lagos can be a standout city in terms of what it has to offer, both Nigeria, especially Africa, and indeed the entire world.
Yes, indeed. AB, before we leave this particular story, I just want to get your perspective on the response by the commissioner there. Now, yes, of course, if individuals say certain things about the lapses that they are, of course, it's one thing to actually acknowledge those lapses, but why? But it seems like there's always this should I say, this automatic reaction in terms of being defensive. I mean, what the commissioner said about spreading divisive narratives and so on and so on, calculated attempts to discredit the state's image. I mean, should that be the thought process of those who are supposed to be in charge of these things?
He seems pretty thin-skinned. When you're public official, you have to understand that not everybody will immediately know your thoughts. Maybe he should improve his ability to communicate the plans of the government. He's also worried, I imagine, that okay, when you get the kind of criticism, his governor will call him and say, "See, what are you doing?" So there is a bit of the personal in it. But at the end of the day, as a public official, you need to evolve your plans. You need to communicate your plans. You need to execute your plans, irrespective of what sometimes can be hurtful to hear, but it's your role to overcome that hurt by performance and by communicating that performance, and indeed eliminating large mosquitoes and smelly points in the city. This is not something that is not true. It happens, but you are the commissioner. You have the tools and the power to do something about it. Go ye forth and use your power.
Hmm. Go ye forth and use your power. All right. Let me take a message or two. This is from Shagun. Okay, Tolu. Is it Tolu or Shagun? I'm not too sure what the name actually is. But the message says, why can't these so-called government officials take criticism in good faith? Do they want pictorial evidence of places where there is filth and therefore smells in those areas, which are very plentiful? Look at most drainages in Lagos, blocked with dirt. If you want pictures to back the claims, we can send them. They should do what is needed and stop playing the ostrich. Well, I'm not holding brief, but also in their defense, most of these drainages, or a number of these drainages that are being blocked, they are man-made, not necessarily what the government did not do, but a function of what the people also did do. So there's also a
It's very
level
true.
of accountability that needs to come from the point of view of we, the people, we, the citizens as well. Yes, there are lapses maybe where the government is concerned, but the people are also playing a big part in this as well. Jerry says, okay, good morning to you, Jerry. Says Dr. Wahab and the entire APC government just hate the truth. What was this said about the Fashola government? Well, I can't remember that far back, but thank you for your thoughts. Eddie Murphy says, does the Lagos Commissioner for Environment wear an invisible face mask? Isn't Lagos smelly? Well, maybe some areas in Lagos, sure, but I get the point that you are definitely trying to make here. I mean, playing the ostrich doesn't solve the problems in any way, shape, or form. Joseph Menu in Silver Estates, Ijibo says, it's just pathetic how government officials and leaders are always defensive and again, and against anyone whenever they point out any observations. The truth is that most ministries are not up and doing, they are just busy doing absolutely nothing. So when issues of criticism against their departments they start all sorts. There should be an end. There should there should be an end. Okay, I'm not sure what you meant by that last portion there, Joseph, but thank you for sending your message. All right, AB, let's step back into the stories. I'll go back to the messages in a little bit, but let's take this one from the Premium Times. The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare congratulated Nigerian epidemiologist Chike Ikweazu on his appointment as the executive director of the World Health Organization, WHO, Health Emergencies Program. Now, Mr. Ihekwezu, who previously served as the founding director general of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, that's the NCDC, now takes over from Mike Ryan, who is an Irish epidemiologist in a role critical to responding to public health emergencies globally. Good stuff coming out there from our Nigerian health sector. And should I say this is sort of the things that we love to hear Nigerians playing a big part in the global, on the global scene?
Definitely. I mean, I think we all heard of his name primarily when COVID came. That was a very significant time in the life of Nigeria and the world. And there were regular reports. I remember just the reporting was very impressive to me. And at least he was on top of the matter to the best of his ability within the country. At the end of the day, it's a credit when, you know, what you can call a Nigerian, homegrown Nigerian, at least he has played significant roles here, even if he wasn't educated here, has has been elevated to a world stage where he can further demonstrate his capacity and capability. Let the word, if you do a Google search of Nigerian or Nigeria, this name too will come up. No more Nigeria and quote unquote African Prince or Nigerian Yahoo boy fraud. So this is kudos to him. I'm very happy for himself and his family. And of course, as a nation, we should be proud that one of ours is making waves like this at the highest world stage.
Most definitely, AB. I mean, this is another indication that if the right things are put in place, if our minds are in the right places, and we do what needs to be done, Nigerians, I mean, we've proven for a very, very long time that
Absolutely.
we are among the best of the best all over the world, and we need to have more Nigerians who are at the top of the tree in different areas, in different fields, in different sectors, and we need to start doing that from home. I mean, the sky definitely should be the starting point.
Yep.
All right, let me sneak a message or two in. I don't want them to overwhelm me at the end of the day. Tali says, so there have been past reports of snakes, rats, and monkeys being responsible for missing monies by swallowing, nibbling, and such wild acts of these animals. In the case of this missing 500 billion naira, the AI data model projects that these are the actions of the prehistoric bird, the pterodactyl. Ah, Tali, I didn't realize the pterodactyl was back among us after eons. Brady, thank you for your message. Michael says, the commissioner who doesn't want feedback, why not ask for
This
places
AI needs
that
to be
smell?
retrained.
The commissioner who doesn't want feedback, why not ask for places that smell or have mosquitoes and send officials there? It's not rocket science. Rather than banter like kindergarten children and being defensive. Okay. Uh, this one, this one is from Uchina on on a CNG queue. Oh, Uchina. So, do CNG cars now have to queue to get CNG, or they're just in line like every other person? Is there scarcity of CNG? Let us know exactly what's going on that front. And he says, why are these Lagos state officials trying to be smart by half? Please, let's look at the National Theatre surroundings. The place is an eyesore. That place is as filthy can be, and the place is supposed to be a tourist destination and attraction. I passed there just now as the as the talk about Lagos being dirty came on, and then he now says, and the people did the damage of the National Theatre filthy environment. Is that a statement or a question there, Uchenna? But I get you. I get you. AB, let's see if we can squeeze in really quickly one last story here in the Daily Post. This has to do with legal matters. It says the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court of Nigeria, Justice John Soho, I beg your pardon, has replaced Justice Inyang Edem Ekwo of the Abuja Division of the court, who was suspended for 1 year by the National Judicial Council. Now, Justice Ekwo's court has been taken over by Justice M.G. Umar, who was moved from Enugu Judicial Division to Abuja. Now, similarly, 4 other judges have been redeployed from their current divisions to other divisions. Now, no reason was adduced for the action of the chief judge. It was made public in a statement on Sunday by the Director of Information of the court, that's Dr. Catherine Obi Christopher. AB, you want to just quickly get your thoughts in on
I
this
would
one?
say, apart from the first name, Justice Ian Edem Echo, who was suspended, and I think if you're suspended, you definitely must be replaced because cases will not stop coming. The rest of them may just fundamentally be administrative redeployment. So there may be no specific challenge in that. When people have served in a certain place, maybe there are certain qualities that the chief of the organization sees. They may redeploy them to somewhere else so they can also perform their magic there. So I think this is fundamentally an administrative because, okay, if you had an expectation that this judge is going to be sitting over your case and you go there and somebody else, you might be taken unaware. So properly, the court communicates this administrative reshuffle. And we have every reason to believe that each judge is competent in their own right. And so wherever they're deployed to, they will put their skills and their talent to use in adjudicating, in adjudicating any cases put before them. We just hope that the court system can be supported better with technology because right now, I think judges go through a lot, having to handwrite literally everything they do. Technology will be their friend. Transcription services, people who are able to move faster so that cases can move faster through the courts. But other than that, I see this, unless something else is brought to me or to my notice, as an administrative thing being done like in almost any other organization.
Yes, indeed. All right, let me take the rest of your messages before we wrap up on the show this morning. This is from Kenny. Kenny says, Aya, the issues surrounding electricity in Nigeria are complex, but it's nothing more than corruption. Have you even forgotten that subsidy has been removed from electricity as well? So why is it that our electricity is not improving? The more you look, the less you see. And he further says, in brackets here, corruption has destroyed electricity sector in Nigeria. I mean, we've been on this for last 49 or 50 years. So here we are, a 50-year-old problem. Nuts when you think about it. Bob Insurulere says, environmental Commissioner for the Environment, show us your plans for cleaning and maintenance of drainages, canals, and lagoons in Lagos. I think he did that the last time that this issue came up. I think he did that on X, if my memory serves me correctly. You can check his handle or something. I think I actually did, but this defensive stance every single time, it's not working. It's really not working at all, at all. Uche Rojas says, congratulations to Dr. Chike Ihekweazu. We, the old students of FGC Enugu, are proud of you. Yes, those are the things that we love to see. Well, I mean,
I claim him as a Nigerian. I claim him as a Nigerian.
He claims him on it. Uche is claiming him on a much deeper level. There's levels to claim him.
They used to eat Gary together. Okay, now. As a federal government college person, I claim him too.
Fabian Inekwe says, when a person is defensive regarding criticism rather than addressing the issue, it implies that the person is either taking the issue personal, lacks understanding regarding his job description, and or doesn't know how to communicate nor understand what accountability means. While it's great that a Nigerian is given a position in the WHO, the federal government should do more to eradicate diseases like Lassa fever, polio, and so on, and to revamp our health sector. That is non-negotiable, Fabian. Thank you for your message there. Adewale says, I just saw someone defecating openly on the island beside a major road. I see that virtually every day, right here on the island, heading back home after the show. It's ridiculous that we're still having this in big 2025. And Ajayi Olonilua says, it's mind-blowing that what continues to come out of the power sector is debt owed to discos and gencos, even as the discos continue to increase the tariff through their fraudulent estimated billings and illegal Band A categorization. All right, thank you for your message, Ajayi, and thank you all for sending those thoughts in to us on the show this morning. Freshly pressed, it has been an amazing one. Ooh, sorry, let me stick this one in on YouTube before I'm accused of not taking YouTube messages. This is Emeka on YouTube, says, whenever this topic comes up on X, especially, it tends to take a dangerous tribalistic dimension. It's not the entire Lagos that smells, but areas involved should be addressed. We know those areas. Exactly. Request for those areas, send your people there, and keep things moving. That way, it's clear that you are doing what needs to be done. All right, AB, thank you so much for joining me on the show this morning. Always a pleasure having you every time.
Thank you, sir. And we missed Mr. C. Mrs. C should get well soon. To everybody else listening, have a wonderful and very productive week ahead. God bless you all.
God bless you too, AB. Thank you so much. Have a great Monday and a great week. See you later on. We'll talk as we always do. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping it tuned to Freshly Pressed this morning. Keep it tuned to Smooth 98.1 and the Smooth Breakfast 8:15. It's all about sports in the locker room. Let's go. Ooh.